Well, today, boys, we're taking a break from the real life drift cars and tow rigs and all the stuff that goes along with it, and we're putting some money and some time into the simulator setup. I've wanted to do some upgrades to this thing for quite a while, and we're finally doing it. We're doing it. So I've had a pretty mid-grade hardware setup on here for a while now. It's treated me great, but I really wanted to go to a direct drive. So I finally was like, you know what? There's only one way to find out if it's worth it, if it's that much better. It is to try it. So we're trying it. We got a direct drive. We got a bunch of new hardware from Fanatec, new wheelbase, new wheels. I've got a button box to add on, things like that. But I'm excited for this because for me, I see so much value in the simulator. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy and they don't understand why, you know, I put so much time and money into the sim setup. But I mean, for perspective, even with all these upgrades, I will have less into this entire sim setup than I do in my beater RX-7 drift car with a stock 5.3 in it. And that's a very basic seat time car. And what a lot of people neglect to think about is the cost to operate. Cars cost a lot of money to operate. I spend so much money to go drive my LS Miata at an event, and you know, between the tow rig and the trailer and trailer servicing and wheels and tires for the car and fuel and entry fee and all that stuff, I mean, it's expensive to run and operate a real car. And I never am trying to insinuate that you should get a sim instead of a real car. And it's not like I have a sim and I don't have a real car. I have real life drift cars, I drive them. But you can only drive so much in real life. Even if you were rich and had the money to drive every single day, unless you're paying your friends to go drive with you, you're gonna be driving solo. So, you know, to get real good learning, progressing, tandeming, drifting, and racing and stuff, like you can only do it so much. I mean, I usually try to do about 2 events a month, and even that's tough between prepping the car between each round and dismounting tires, mounting new tires, loading up, getting ready, going, you know, it's tough to do 2 events a month. Whereas this, I mean, I could drive as much as I drive in those 2 events a month in one night. You know, and I could do that every night. I usually don't have time because I'm so busy working on my real life cars and working on the tow rigs and getting ready to go to events, but I could if I wanted to. So anyway, that's my spiel on why sim stuff is sick and why I think if you're going to spend a bunch of money on a real car, you should take some of that money, put it into a sim, and get yourself invaluable seat time. I learned so much from having a sim setup. So anyway, again, that's my spiel. So we've got this thing pulled out so we can start taking the current hardware off of it. When I put together the motion base, I just kind of like left everything thrown around just to get it up and going and work through any bugs and yada yada. So now that we've got that done, I want to do some cable management. Again, we're going to add a button box and do a bunch of stuff. Mainly, try out the wheelbase. So for those of you who don't know, not familiar with sim stuff, I'll give you a quick kind of breakdown of the 3 types of wheelbases. So the first up, the kind of bottom of the line, the start of the cheapest of the force feedback wheels is one like this. So this is a gear driven force feedback wheel. So it's got a little motor, it's got a gear. So the gear spins this, you can hear it. Basically, the motor spins the gear, that spins the gear, that's the wheel. There you go, you get your force feedback. Now, there's a few problems with this setup. Problem 1, the gears are plastic, so there's naturally lash in between them. 2, they wear out and there becomes more lash. So what'll happen is those minute details that the game is trying to give you, you know, there's a bump here that tugs the wheel left, the rumble strips got this much detail in it, all of that gets lost between the lash of the gears. So you'll see, this is my roommate setup. He'll be going down a street and hitting the bumps, and instead of the wheel moving, you just hear the clunk, 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 clunk. On top of that, they don't have a lot of power. They're rated to like 2 Newton meters because of, again, plastic gears, yada yada. So that is the bottom level, the cheap level, the entry level of a wheelbase. Then you have what I have. So this is a Fanatec Club Sport wheelbase V2.5. So this is a belt-driven wheel. So it's got a motor, a belt, and then the belt goes to the wheel. Now, you lose a lot of the slack. It's basically a lot tighter, a lot more direct of a feedback from the motor. It can have more power because it's not going through plastic gears, and it is a lot smoother and a lot quieter than a gear-driven setup. And this is a really nice setup. This is what I've used for, I don't know, 4 years now, and it's been absolutely great. But there is a step up from this, and that is a direct drive wheel. So let's get this thing out of the box so I can show you. This is such a nice box. Look at this thing. It's got freaking locks. I would be lying if I said I hadn't already opened it. Boom. So instead of having a belt or gears or any of those things, it is literally the wheel attached to an electric motor, and then there's a lot of wizardry that goes on to make that work correctly. The benefit of this is a lot more power. These have a lot more power, better emulate things like Indy cars, which have manual steering and all the fine details of the track, etc. And there's no play. There's no lash between the motor and the wheel. The wheel is attached directly to the motor, so you get just that fine feedback from everything. You hit a pebble in the road and it relates and translates to the wheel, and you get a lot of your feedback when you're driving through the wheel. So this is, again, something I've really wanted to try for a very long time, and I'm excited to finally try it and see if the difference is really worth it. Because Ben's looking to upgrade too, and he's not sure whether to go with a direct drive or a belt-driven wheel like this. So yeah, all that being said, we got to get it on the rig and get all this other stuff on the rig as well. So start tearing this thing apart. The attachable wheel setup. We can put this whole assembly on the new wheelbase, but we're going to change it up. So I've got this set up on the side of my shifter. It's a trackball mouse, so I can do everything from the sim chair, because it is kind of annoying when you got to get up, go over there, grab something, click something, come back. Oh, didn't work, go back. All right, we got this thing stripped down to a bare motion platform, starting fresh, clean slate. I was thinking about leaving some of the wiring. I was like, you know what? Nope, we're gonna cut it all off. We're gonna redo it all, get it all super nice, take our time. I was just in such a rush to play this thing originally, I kind of rushed through it. But anyway, moral of the story is it's stripped down. It's ready to go, ready to accept our new parts. A new handbrake. I'm switching from this hydraulic one, wasn't a fan, to a Fanatec one again. And then we'll have to mount our sim button pad somewhere over here, and we're gonna have to revise this. First, I'm gonna finish tackling this wiring, kind of get everything from the computer to over here. I'm gonna put it on this side now, and then we're, because we're gonna wire from that to the wheelbase. The wheelbase is gonna be the hub. So I wanna get that sorted out, and then we'll start tackling getting the direct drive on and mounted and so on and so forth. Well, I'm probably gonna change this setup eventually, but I was able to use the angled mount off the bottom of my V2 wheelbase to mount the podium wheelbase to get us going for now. This will work. I get to reuse this mount I made, which is kind of a slimmed down version of the stock one it comes with. And yeah, we can keep on trucking. All right, I got the pedals mounted. I tilted the base up a little bit to kind of make them a little more flat. So they're almost, they're basically kind of like they would be if it was a pedal box in a car. So I'm really excited to try these out. These are the non-inverted pedals. I've been running these inverted ones for years now, and they're really nice because like the clutch throw feels very realistic. The brake has a lot of throw, the throttle has a lot of throw. The throttle's floor mounted, these are hung. But to make them inverted, you have this big frame, whereas this is kind of a much smaller package. So I think for on the motion sim rig, it'll be nice to have these. And I just want to try them out and see the difference. I've always been curious how the difference would feel. Like I said, this is more like a pedal box. Those are more like normal. So anyway, excited to try these out. But we got those mounted. Really the next step is making stuff. So we've got to redo this setup for the handbrake mount. I need to weld a bar here for the rear bolt and then drill a new hole for one of the front bolts. And then I need to make some little brace brackets for the frame of the motion sim because this bar slides back and forth. So I need to do that and then make a mount for my button box. I'm just gonna mount it off of the side mount holes here for the direct drive wheel and have it, stand off just a little bit. I think that'll be a good spot for it. So it's time to head out to the shop, start fabbing some stuff up. All right, luckily we have enough scrap for all of this, mainly a scrap aluminum piece. I have a big sheet. I just didn't feel like having to drag it out and cut it out of there. So this will work perfect. We'll trace this. That'll be our main piece to bolt this to, and then we'll need a little L bracket basically to bolt it to the actual wheel. Scavenge some out of this. I'm pretty much out of flat bar to make our little angle brackets to hold that bottom brace. And then this will just be adding on right here so we can have a hole for the rear bolt. And again, we got to drill another one in the front. So pretty straightforward little projects. Let's get to it. Bandsaw blade needs replacing. Do that real quick. Got our holes transferred onto some paper using some greasy fingers. Now we're going to transfer them onto the aluminum. Alright, I'm going to let that cool down for a second. We're going to go make sure it fits. If it fits, we're pretty much done with this Johnny. Alrighty, she fits mint. So we'll weld her out, add our little angle brackets. Alright, let that cool down. Now we can move on to the next project. Oh, dropped my helmet. Handbrake. Alright, we've got our button pad bracket done. We've got our additions to our handbrake bracket done, just basically this little deal welded on for the rear bolt hole. Got bolts for my brackets for the bottom bar, so that's what I'm going to work on next. I only need one bracket, and then I need to flip the handbrake handle. So basically I got to take this cover off and you can flip this to where it's pulled back. So I'm going to knock that out real quick, and then we can go finish putting the whole sim rig itself together. Oh, like I said, one of those things, I kind of slapped it together to get it up and running, and now that I'm modifying it and upgrading it and changing it, I figured I might as well tackle all these little projects I've been wanting to do, because if not, if I get it up and running without doing them, I'm not going to do them. Might as well get it done. Come on, Tuck. Come on, buddy. No. Come on, bud. Up and at 'em. Alright, so I did a through bolt there and a bracket there. This is basically because this bar is where the front motors attach, and when they move up and down, this bar will slide back and forth because these bolts don't hold it enough in place. So now it's super secured. Should have a lot less play. Oh yeah, thing is freaking tight. So I'm excited to see how it feels. But anyway, sim button pad mount deal. Stripped over my drill. Button pad installed. It's a little low on this side. I gotta lift it up, but super firm too. Bracing worked out well. Sweet, that is gonna be so handy. All right, moving on. Mint. And we got this snazzy limited edition shifter. This thing is a beaut. I'm gonna switch to the other knob. So that's sequential mode. Let me slide this Johnny back. H pattern. Coming together. I think all that's left is wiring. Handbrake's on, shifter's on, wheelbase is on, button pad's on. I originally wanted to put it down here somewhere, but the holes presented themselves, and I was like, you know what, that's a pretty easy spot to put it. I don't know that I like the way it looks there, because it was so clean looking. with the non-inverted pedals. It was so simple and clean. Now we got this box. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna keep on trucking. Let's wire this thing up and try it out. Got all my cable routing done. So satisfied with that. No cables on this side. Everything runs down this side, through, around, under the rug, boom, up to the computer, done. Again, very, very freaking satisfying. I want to set this up as like my keyboard / other buttons. That way I'm gonna have my drift wheel with the podium hub, just a bare wheel, no buttons on it. So that'll be a really nice clean setup to have, like just a normal steering wheel, quick release, no buttons, and have my buttons over there. So I don't know, I'm a nerd, I know, it's okay. So here is my drift wheel setup. So you can see I've got the bare podium hub, nothing else on it, no buttons, literally looks just like a steering wheel for a car. So sick. So let's get this on there. This is so comfortable. The one thing we will need to work on is the steering wheel mounting, like off of the motion sim. It's got a good bit of flex in it. Not ideal with a direct drive, but we'll find out how it works. Oh, it's so cool though to have the clean, no buttons look. Love it. Alrighty boys, well here she is, all finished up, completely done. So satisfying. Really, really happy with the aesthetics of everything. I'm really glad I decided to pull it back some. Gives me more room to work around it, get around to the front of it, having all the wires and everything on the right-hand side instead of having to go over here. Like, oh, just so much nicer. I love it. I love it. So clean looking. Not a huge fan of the aesthetics of the button box, especially where it is, but there's just not really a better place to put it. And I really do need it because the whole goal is to get this thing set up where I don't have to get in and out to open and close games. I can do everything from here. That's the goal. But anyway, yeah, that's it. Aesthetically, looking snazzy. Obviously, we want to know how it functions, right? So got it set up, played it a little bit last night. I played it. I let Ben hop on it because he's been real curious about upgrading his wheel. Finally, boys. Like that foot back there is where it feels so good because I feel like I've never been able to nail that because it always wouldn't countersteer enough.
Yeah, you should try an elevation change track too.
Yeah. And to give you an example of how freaking good this thing is, Ben went and bought his own literally before even leaving my room. He played it for 5 minutes and was sitting in the chair while I was playing it, ordered himself a DD1. So this is a Fanatec DD1, by the way, direct drive. I am really, really surprised by it. I thought it was going to be a little bit better for drifting and like a good bit better for road racing. It is so much better for drifting. Like I jumped in here and felt like I was driving a real car for the first time ever. And that's not to say that my old wheelbase was bad. Like that felt really good. It's the best feeling one I've ever tried, but this just perfectly replicates what a steering wheel does in real life. It's incredible. So anyway, instead of me talking about it a bunch, let's play it. Let's hop on, do some Assetto, some drifting, and then we'll do a little iRacing just to show you guys both of those and have some fun with the new rig. All right. One of the big things I've noticed with this direct drive wheel is just things like the transitions. Like on my other wheel setups, and pretty much every one I've tried, I've always had to help the wheel a little bit, whereas on here, it does its own thing like it would in a normal car. Spins so fast. And like the way it loads up when you like dive into a corner or go to more angle, it gets like a little heavier like it would in real life. And the wheel itself has so much power, I can actually turn it up and have it like feel closer to what my Miata feels like in real life with no power steering. I can actually make it heavier than my Miata feels in real life with no power steering. But it's just like, it just immediately felt like home. Like it felt like what it feels like in real life. And for me, the sim is not only something to have fun with, but it's a tool to progress in real life. And the closer I can get it to feeling like real life, the more like playing the sim is going to help me out in real life, because it's going to translate more. And the steering is one of the biggest things that you're doing in a drift car. So to have the steering feel like it should is such a massive improvement. Oh, we might go off. Yeah, we're going off. We died. Yeah, it just feels so good. It feels like, just feels right. Like just in the tiny bit of time I've played with this wheel setup, I've driven better than I've ever driven on a Assetto Corsa. It's just so responsive. It spins so fast, and you feel everything. Again, much better than I expected. Oh, my keyboard's all the way over there. That's why I need the button box. Much better than I expected. Much better than I expected. I had high hopes. I had high expectations. I really didn't think that the advantages of a direct drive wheel would be super noticeable for drifting, when in reality, it's insanely noticeable. So, anyway, we'll do a couple laps on iRacing too, just to kind of show you guys that. We'll change the wheel, loosen the lock collar. Wheel comes off. All this has me nerding out and wanting to get a bunch of new wheel setups. And we switch to setup 2. The Fanatec wheels, you have a whole setup menu. So I've got setup 1, which is my drifting setup. Setup 2 is my road racing setup. And then I've got 3 more that I can play with. So I love that about it. I love that you can go through and do all these settings on the base. They have software to do it as well, but we're not that far into it yet. So we're running the Porsche GT3 Cup car at Nürburgring. I do need to flip these paddles around so they're closer to the wheel. You can do a lot. You can set them up how you want them, but I don't have the right Allen key with me. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you go up on that curve straight, and it feels so much, oh, what is happening? So much different than hitting the other curve at like a more dead-on angle. Like, I don't know, you can just feel the difference in impact it has on the car. Definitely go faster through there. I always baby it. It's so hard to remember this whole track too. This is a long track. I know this section's pretty much... No, this isn't the section. This isn't the section. Oh. Oh, that's what happens when you forget. I was thinking this is the section where it's like floored for several corners. But nope, that's the section where you gotta brake way earlier for that turn. Then it looks like you gotta brake. And then it's the section where you're forward for a long time. Let's try this again. So you come around this turn and you're like, oh, that's the turn down there, but you gotta be braking. See, that was early. Tires are cold. And then, yeah, now we're flat out for a while. Light brake for this one. And then this one's fast and the one after it is slow. Ugh. That's what happens when you don't play much. Alright, well, I think you guys get the gist. Feels really good. So yeah, that's the new sim rig setup. I mean, all in all, I would have to say absolutely worth going to the direct drive wheel. Like if I had the choice to buy a bolt driven wheel, spend more money, get a direct drive wheel, absolutely 10 out of 10 would get the direct drive wheel. And obviously Ben felt the same because he was between bolt drive wheel, direct drive wheel. As soon as he tried mine, bought the direct drive wheel. It is that much better, which again, I'm mildly surprised by because my belt-driven wheel feels so good. You wouldn't think it could get much better, but it's just so much better, so much more dialed in, so much more responsive. It just feels right. And I mean, that's really what I'm aiming for with my simulator setup. I want it to feel right, feel like it does in real life. So super excited to play this thing more. I'll probably bring you guys more videos of sim stuff down the road, but for now, I guess that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Goodbye.